Good evening, everyone. We had covered or just started covering the transportation in human beings, and we had studied till the heart part. Now let us try to understand the functioning of the heart, like how the oxygen enters the bloods and everything else that the heart does. So, first of all, we see this diagram. We have pulmonary vein from the lungs, and this enters the aorta, and from here aorta transports it to the body. Now, what is there in the lungs? Whenever we breathe in and we breathe out, we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. So when we breathe in oxygen, the oxygen is taken up inside the body. So what happens is the oxygen is present here as well in the pulmonary vein from lungs. This goes in the heart. Okay. Oxygen, this is what is called the oxygenated blood. Now the heart pumps this oxygenated blood that has come from the lungs into the heart to the all over the body. So the blood is transporting the oxygenated blood to all over the body, artery, and the vein is there. So this is deoxygenated blood from the vein, from body vena cava. It again comes back to the heart, and it is again pulmonary artery to lungs. Again this deoxygenated blood goes to the lungs. Now the separation of right side and left side of the heart prevents mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. This allows a highly efficient supply of oxygen to the body. It is useful in animals that need high energy like birds and mammals to maintain body temperature. Now let us see, animals like amphibians and many reptiles do not use energy to maintain temperature. They depend on the temperature in the environment. Such animals have three-chambered hearts. Okay, we have four-chamber heart. Human beings have four-chamber heart. Some amphibians, some reptiles which do not use energy to maintain temperature and they depend on temperature environment, so they have three-chambered heart and tolerate some mixing. So in a three-chamber heart, some mixing oxygenated and deoxygenated blood can be tolerated. Okay, I hope this is clear what is happening in the heart and how the oxygenated blood is coming from the lungs to the body, to the aorta, and from aorta it is getting pumped all over the body parts, and then capillaries in body organs apart from lungs. Deoxygenated blood again is entering the vein to the body, and again it is coming to the heart, and again through lungs it is getting oxygenated, and again it is getting pumped throughout the body. So we have to understand the sequence. Okay, so animals like amphibians and reptiles are some of the animals that require energy to maintain temperature. So they depend on temperature environment. So such animals can have three-chambered heart, and some mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood can be tolerated. Now let's move ahead and understand the case of fish. Fish have only two-chambered heart. Fishes have only two chambers. Here circulation occurs as follows. How does the circulation happen in a fish? Deoxygenated blood enters the heart of the fish. It is pumped to gills. Blood is oxygenated in gills and blood is pumped to the rest of the body. Thus, blood goes only once through the heart during one cycle of passage through the body. In other vertebrates, blood goes through the heart twice during each cycle. This is called double circulation. Sometimes they can ask what is double circulation, single circulation. So you have to say that when blood goes only once through the heart and during one cycle of passage through body, it is single circulation. In case of humans, the blood is going twice. Once it enters then the body, then again it enters then the lungs. So it is going twice. So this is called double circulation. Blood goes through the heart twice during each cycle. This is called double circulation. Now let's move ahead. What is BP? We all know that sometimes when we visit the doctor, they measure our blood pressure. There is a standard reading. So if they say either the blood pressure has gone high or the blood pressure has come low. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure, as the word suggests, is the force that it is the force that blood exerts against the wall of a vessel. So pressure exerted by blood against the wall of the vessel. This is greater in arteries than in veins. Now we have a device called as sphygmanometer. Sphygmanometer is the device that the doctor wraps around in our hand and it measures the blood pressure. They get some optimum reading. An instrument to measure BP is sphygmanometer. Now what does it measure? It measures systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure is the blood pressure in the artery during the ventricle systole, that is the contraction. It is about 120 mm of mercury. Diastolic pressure is the blood pressure in the artery during ventricular diastole relaxation. It is about 80 mmHg. So normal BP for a human being is 120 by 80. High BP, hypertension, is caused by the constriction of arterioles, which increases resistance to blood flow. It leads to the rupture of an artery and internal bleeding. Now let's go ahead. The tubes, blood vessels, artery, veins, and capillaries. We'll learn more about these in depth. What is an artery? Artery is the red one, I think. They carry blood from the heart to various body parts. So artery is carrying the oxygenated blood from the heart to various other body parts. That's the function of the artery, the red one. So they are doing a fantastic job of carrying the blood from the heart to the various body parts. Since the blood emerges from the heart under high pressure, since it is getting pumped, the arteries have thick elastic walls. Now this question can be asked in board exam, like why does the artery have thick elastic walls? This is the reason, because they carry blood from the heart to various body parts. Since the blood emerges from the heart under high pressure, arteries have thick elastic walls. On reaching an organ or tissue, the artery divides into small branches, which are known as arterioles, to bring the blood in contact with all the cells. See, artery, the blood is going, this is arteriole, this is venule, this is the vein. Okay, let's go ahead. What is a vein? Vein collects, vein collects blood from different organs and brings it back to the heart. Yeah, artery is taking the blood from the heart to the different body parts. What is a vein doing? Vein is taking the blood from the body organs and bringing it back to the heart. So they don't have thick walls because the blood is no longer under pressure. Instead, they have valves. Instead they have valves to flow blood only in one direction. If they did not have valves to make blood flow only in one direction, blood would have gone back into the heart. So this doesn't happen because the veins have only one valve under which the blood can flow in only one direction, that is forward. Now from the body organs it goes back to the heart because of the veins, and veins don't have any thick walls because the blood is no longer under pressure. Simple to understand. Now let us understand about capillaries. What is a capillary? Capillary is the smallest vessel. It is the smallest vessels having walls which are one cell thick. Through this wall, exchange of material between blood and surrounding cells takes place. The capillaries join together to form veins that convey the blood away from the organ or tissue. Now let's go ahead. Try to understand about platelets. What is a platelet? What is the function of platelet? What is the maintenance done by platelet? See this cut. Maybe this boy was playing football. He got hit by someone's spikes. So it has started bleeding. So what has nature made? If there were no platelets, he would have lost all his blood and died. All his blood would have gone out. But there is something called as platelet. What happens in case of platelet? The basic function of platelet is that it helps in blood clotting. It clots the blood into one place and stops the blood flow. Injury or damage, some blood has gone out. Vessel contracts, platelet plugs come in, they make a fibrin clot because of the they make a fibrin clot because of which we get a blood clotting and the blood stops from flowing out. Leakage or loss of blood due to injury leads to reduction in pressure and efficiency of circulatory system. To avoid this, the platelet plugs these leaks to clot the blood at the points of injury. Let's move ahead and try to understand what is a lymph or a tissue fluid. Through the pores in the capillary wall, some amount of plasma, protein and blood cells escape into intercellular spaces in the tissue to form lymph. It is similar to blood plasma but colorless and contains less protein. So from intercellular spaces, lymph drains into lymphatic capillaries which join to form large lymph vessels that finally open into larger veins. Lymph carries digested fat from intestine and drains excess fluid from extracellular space back into the blood. Now let's move forward and see, this is everything related to the transportation that has happened in the human body. Now what we need to do is we need to study the transportation that happens in plants. This is very important. There are two important things, that there is one xylem, there is one phloem. What does xylem do? Xylem moves water and minerals from the soil to the plant, and phloem transports products of photosynthesis from leaves to other parts, that is the food. Now see, this is the root, this is the soil. Xylem. What is xylem doing? It is moving water and minerals from the soil. Xylem tissues carry water and dissolved minerals up from the roots. Okay. Phloem tissues carry food up from leaf. Food is made in the leaf. Water and minerals from soil comes in the leaf. Transpiration. Some water goes out in transpiration like sweat. Leaf. So food is made by the leaf. So phloem tissues carry food up from leaf. Okay. Food is made by the leaf. So phloem tissues carry food up from the leaf. Okay. Now let us go ahead and see. Soil is the nearest and richest source of raw material. Raw material is the water and the minerals. If the distance between roots and leaves are small, energy in raw materials can easily diffuse to all parts, but for large distance transportation system is essential. Plants do not move and have enormous dead cells, so they need only low energy and slow transport systems. Plant transport systems include two independently organized conducting tubes. One is the xylem, which is moving water and minerals from the soil, and phloem, which is transporting products of photosynthesis from leaves to other parts, which is basically the food. So first let us read about the transport of water. In xylem tissue, we have vessels and tracheids of the roots, stems and leaves. These are all interconnected to form a water conducting channel reaching all parts. At the root, cells actively take up ions from the soil. This creates a difference in concentration of ions between root and soil. So water moves into the root from the soil. Thus there is steady movement of water into root xylem, creating a column of water pushing upwards. But this pressure is not enough to move water over the height, so plants use another strategy called transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is just like the sweating that we do in humans. Same way transpiration is in plants. Loss of water through leaves. Let's go ahead. We have to see transpiration is a loss of water vapor from the aerial parts, mainly stomata of leaves of the plant. It can be proved by the following activity. We will do some activity to prove this. This can be asked in exam. Describe some activity to prove the function of stomata, etc. So we take two small sized pots with same amount of soil. One should have a plant in it. In other pot, place a stick of same height as the plant. Cover the soil in both plots with a plastic sheet so that moisture cannot escape by evaporation. Cover both sets with plastic sheets and place in bright sunlight for half an hour. In pot with plant, water droplets are found in plastic sheet, which shows transpiration. It is due to condensation of water vapor released by transpiration. In other pot, water droplets are not found. This experiment can be asked. So transport of water. What is happening in transport of water? The water which is lost through the stomata is replaced by water from the xylem vessels in the leaf. Transpiration creates a suction which pulls water from the xylem cells of roots. Thus transpiration helps in absorption and upward movement of water and minerals from roots to the leaves. It also helps in temperature regulation. This is the function of transpiration. It helps in temperature regulation. It also helps in upward movement of water and minerals. Okay, water and minerals. Generally, stomata are closed at night. At night, the stomata is closed. So plants depend on the root pressure for water transport at night. At night, stomata is closed. So plant will depend on the root pressure for water transport at night. During the day, when we have the stomata is open, transpiration pull is the major drawing force in the water transport. Let's move ahead. Transport of soluble products of photosynthesis from leaves to other parts is called Translocation. It occurs in vascular tissue called phloem. Phloem also transports amino acids and other substances. These substances are delivered to the storage organs of roots, fruits, seeds, and to growing organs.